Hi everyone at home, welcome to our lesson today on applications of graphing systems. So yesterday we talked about what a system of equations was, which if you remember was two or more lines, and we worked on finding the solution by graphing. So in other words, where the two lines cross, that was their intersection. So today we're going to take a little bit further and we're going to do more real life situations. And if I give you a graph, can you write the equation of the linear equation? So that's our first objective. And second, if you are given a graph, or if you have to even complete your own graph, can you answer some questions, some follow-up questions regarding that graph? Okay, so those are the two things that we are going to be working on, especially today. All right, so let's start with the first one. And by the way, if you don't know, I'm going to show you some other pictures. This was one of my favorite shows at one time. It was River Monsters, where they would catch a fish and try to decide if it would be possible for it to actually kill a human. And so some of these were considered monsters. In other words, they could kill a human, and some of them were not. I don't remember all of them, but here we've got a type of piranha, or a Hydrocynus goliath, sorry, not a piranha. Okay, so first example, I know Trivia Crack is kind of an older game now, but we're gonna go with a problem with that in it. I'm gonna use my son's name, so Emmett here. He currently has 32 coins, and he usually earns 2 coins per day. All right, then I'll put my daughter's name down here. Her name's Lexi. So Lexi only has 14 coins at this time, and she has been on a winning streak and usually earns 4 coins per day. All right, so first off, we have to write an equation to represent how many coins, which is the y. So I'm going to go ahead and label that since I know that coins is our y-axis. And our x-axis, it says each person will have after x days. So down here are the days. Okay, so let's go back to Emmett first and look at the sentence. It says that he currently has 32 coins and earns 2 coins per day. All right, well, his starting point, or his y-intercept, is 32. So I know that's going to be the b. And his rate of change, or the slope, is 2 coins per 1 day. So that would be 2x, 2 per day. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and graph his line. So I'm going to start at 32, and I'm going to go up 2 coins per day. But you have to be careful of the scale. So if I look at the scale down below, 2 boxes is 4 coins. So I know 1 box is 2 coins. So if I'm going up 2 coins, I really only need to go up 1 box and over 1 day. So up 1 over 1 is the pattern here. And again, like yesterday, we want to get as many points as possible, so that way it's easier to find where the two graphs intersect. I'm going to draw an arrow showing that goes on forever. All right, so let's do Lexi now. All right, Lexi only has 14 coins at this time, and she's been on a winning streak and earns 4 coins per day. So she started at 14, that's her y-intercept. You can even put that on the graph there, halfway between 12 and 16. And she earns 4 coins per day. And that's her slope. So 4, looking at your scale, is 2 boxes. So if I'm at 14, I need to go to 18. So up 2 boxes, oops, forgot to go over 1. So up 2 boxes over 1, up 2 over 1. And then it's going to ask us some follow-up questions dealing with our graph. Okay, so that's what the line should look like for Lexi. It says, after how many days will they have the same amount of coins? Well, gotta find my point. That's the special point, the one and only. I'm gonna go down, and that would be 9 days. And how many coins would they both have? I'm going to go straight across to find out the coins. Well, it's halfway between 48 and 52. That would be 50 coins. It says, well, who will have more coins on the 11th day? Well, let's use our graph. Let's go over to 11, go straight up. It looks like Emmett is going to have 54 coins, but if I keep going up, Lexi is going to have 58. So Lexi will have 4 more coins. And there you can see the fish, a giant grouper that weighs 800 pounds. All right, we've got another question here. Cedar Point is one of my favorite places to go. It says people are angry with Cedar Point. By the way, I just made this one up, so it's not true. It says many are complaining about the high admission prices. Some parents of teenagers claim that they pay huge amounts of money to enter the park and they don't ever ride any of the roller coasters. So Cedar Point is worried that parents will stop coming to the park and they will stop bringing their kids as well. So to please the angry parents, Cedar Point is deciding to change the admission based upon the number of roller coasters ridden. There we got your other fish, an arapaima. Okay, so here are the 2 options for Cedar Point. Option 1, and go ahead and write that down. Option 1 here. It says there's a $10 admission fee and you must pay $10 every 2 rides. Okay, option 2, I'll go ahead and put 2 down here. You must pay an admission fee of $40, which is much higher, but you only have to pay $10 every 5 rides this time. Okay, it says to write an equation to represent how much money, which is y, so going up and down, that's the money, dollars. Each person will pay after X rides. So X is the number of rides. All right, so option 1, let's go back to what's in pink up there. Our starting point is they have to pay $10 just to get into the park. So that is our y-intercept. So I'm going to put that there. And then it changes, it's $10 for every 2 rides. Well, if I make that a fraction, 10 for every 2, that means we have a slope of 5. Now when I graph it, it's really hard to do 5 up 5 over 1. So I'm going to go back to the 10 every 2. So if I'm at 10, I'm going to go up 10 for every 2 rides. So I'm going to be going up 1 over 2 on these, up 1 over 2. And continue that pattern to get my line. All right, so let's show option 2 now. It says you must pay an admission fee of $40, so our starting point is 40 this time. Go ahead and put that on the graph. And this time you have to pay $10 for every 5 rides. Again, make that a fraction, 10 every 5, which would be a slope of 2. Now this one especially would be really hard to go up 2 over 1 since our scale is going up by 10s. So go back to your original fraction, up 10 over 5. So up 10 every 5 days would be over here. So up 1 over 5, up 1 over 5. And that would be the graph. We have identified the solution of where the 2 options will be the same. So it says after how many rides will a person pay the same amount of money for each option? Go straight down to see rides. That would be 10 rides. And how much money would this be? Well, let's go the other direction. That would be $60. And which option is the best if you only plan on riding 4 rides? Well, let's see. Find 4 rides. Looks like option 1 would be about $30 and keep going up. Option 2 looks like just under $50. So obviously the cheaper route would be option 1. There you can see the fish there. It's a lamprey, another river monster. All right, we're going to switch gears. So on these, you were given an equation or a situation, and you had to write the equation and then graph it and answer some questions. This time, you're going to be given the graph, and we have to write the equations given a graph, and then we're going to answer some follow-up questions afterwards. All right, so last time I used my kids. This time I will use my dog and my cat. So my dog's name is Mia. So I'm going to put Mia wherever there is an A at. And for B, I'm going to use my cat. Her name is Aria. This was when I was a Pretty Little Liars fan. All right, so it says Mia and Aria love to binge watch shows on Netflix over the weekend. Mia's favorite show is The Walking Dead. Aria's favorite show is Criminal Minds, Mrs. Beckman's personal favorite. It says use the graph on the right to answer the following questions. Construct a function. A function is usually a linear function, so we're looking for y equals mx plus b here, showing each person's number of episodes watched y after x number of weekends. All right, so let's look at Mia. Mia was watching The Walking Dead. Okay, so let's see how many episodes that Mia has started off watching already. So if I find the y-intercept, Mia has started at halfway between 4 and 0, so Mia has already watched 2 episodes. Okay, and then we have to find her rate of change. So I want to find another point on the line. Now, the farther up you get, you can still do. You're just making your work a little bit more difficult. I usually try to find a point really close to the one that we start with. So if you can find one at 1, that's great. So that's the point 1, 8. And this was the point 0, 2. So you can use either the graph to find your slope, or you can use your 2 points to find the slope. So if I started at 2 and I went up to 8, that was a change of 6. And if I started at 0 and went over to 1, that was a change of 1. Here my slope is 6 over 1, which is just 6. I'm going to do the same thing with Aria. Aria started at 20 episodes of Criminal Minds. But she's not watching as many episodes every day. So again, I'm going to find another point close. I went from 20 to 24. That was a change of 4. And I went over 1 day, or sorry, 1 weekend. So 4 over 1, Aria has a slope of 4. Here we go. There's another river monster, a giant stingray. Okay, so let's answer some questions regarding this graph. It says that consider the point where the lines intersect on the graph. Okay, so let's look at that point right here. It says explain what the point of intersection represents in terms of number of episodes watched. It says be sure to include the coordinates of the point in your answer. Okay, so let's first figure out the coordinates. So if I go straight down, that would be 9. If I go straight across, that would be 56. So I have to explain why is 956 important in our situation. So the answer to this one is that both my pets, so both Mia and Aria, will have watched 56 episodes after 9 weekends. So it talks about that is where they're the same. Since I put the word both, it also includes the ordered pair, or the coordinates where the lines cross that are the solutions, and it tells what they meant. So 56 episodes and 9 weekends. That's kind of the parts I'm looking for. Something about them being the same, and also including 9 weekends and 56 episodes. All right, so next question is, how many weekends will it take Mia to watch 44 episodes? Well, I've got to find 44 episodes. and go over. Mia was the one watching The Walking Dead, and that was at 7 weekends. All right, and now it asks Aria, how many weekends does it take Aria to watch 44 episodes? So go over. Aria was Criminal Minds. She would have watched 44 episodes total after 6 weekends. And how much longer does it take Aria to watch 44 episodes? Or sorry, Mia to watch 44 episodes, just 1 extra weekend. Okay, last question here. All right, we're going to talk about spending an allowance. I will use, since we're talking about allowance, I'll use my brother and sister. So this time I'm going to have Jesse and Jimmy. All right, so Jessie likes to use her allowance to see movies at the theater. So that's Jessie. And Jimmy likes to spend his money cheering on his school at the basketball games. It says use the graph on the right to answer the following questions. Construct a function showing each person's amount of money left, y, after x number of events. Label this one Jimmy. Okay, let's start with Jessie and write an equation for her. So let's find her starting point. She started at $45 and she went down to $39. So don't put that there was a change of 2, because if you think about it, 45 to 39, that wasn't a change of 2, that was a change of 6, and it went down 6. So make sure you include the negative and over 1 event. So our slope here is negative 6x. Again, if you look at the scale down here, 1 box was $3. So she went down 2 boxes, so $6. Okay, so let's do Jimmy now. And we're going to write an equation for Jimmy. He started with less money. My mom must have liked him less. He started with $30. And if I look for another point, that was the point 127. So he went from $30 to $27. He went down 3, or a change of 3, and over 1. So his slope was negative 3x. And there you can see our river monster and alligator gar. Okay, so let's answer some follow-up questions to that. It says, consider the point where the lines intersect in the graph. So find that point, that's the special point. It says, explain what the point of intersection represents in terms of their money situation. Be sure to include the coordinates of the point in your answer. All right, so we need to include the word both just to show that they're the same. So both Jimmy and Jesse will have, and here's when I need the coordinates. So I need to go down, that would be 5. If I look at the label, 5 events, and if I go across, that would be $15. So both Jimmy and Jesse will have $15 left. Notice it says money remaining after 5 events. Okay, so let's answer some follow-up questions. It says, how many basketball games can Jimmy attend? Well, I want to know when he runs out of money. So if I'm looking at basketball, I'm going to look for when he runs out of money. So money is started off at $30 and I'm looking for when it was 0. It ends up after 10 events or 10 games. Well, how many movies can Jesse attend? So I'm gonna again start at 45. I'm looking for when it ended up at 0. This one's kind of strange. It's like 7.5, but you can't really go to 7.5 movies. So she would have to stop after 7 movies. She can only go to 7. And then how much money will she have left over? Well, if she's at 7 movies, how much money is she gonna have? That would be $3. All right, here's our river monster, a bull shark. It's kind of crazy, but bull sharks have been known to be able to survive in some rivers. Okay, and this is one other type of question that will be on your test eventually. You're going to be given a point and you're going to have to say if it is a solution or not. And if you remember from yesterday, the way that we can figure it out is that the point must be true when plugged into both equations. Has to be both. If it's just one, it doesn't work. Okay, so let's test this out. They're giving us 1.43. So remember, 4 is your x and 3 is your y. So if I plug it into the first one, I would get 3 equals 2 times 4. Lost my pen there. 2 times 4 minus 5. Okay, so that would be 8 minus 5. Well, that's 3, so it works for that one. But again, one's not good enough. It has to be both. So let's try the other one. Plug in 3 for my y and 4 for my x. And so let's see, 3 equals negative 12 plus 13. Well, that's not true because that's 1. So the answer to this one, is it a solution of the system? No. Reason being, it has to work for both, and it only worked for one. And I guess we can end with another picture here. There's a giant catfish, a Wells catfish. So tonight you're going to have a worksheet for homework. It is just more problems like this. Again, if you have issues with it, don't hesitate to reach out on Schoology and ask questions. There's another catfish. All right, hope to see you guys soon. Bye.